Hello, everyone. I did announce since a while already the new podcast I'm starting, which is called By the Way. And why did we call it By the Way? Because it will cover all aspects of life, not only one niche, because life is converging. Life is everything. Encompasses the personal, the professional, family, relationship, self-esteem, relationship with yourself, parents, everything. And that's why we called it By the Way. And today, it's the first series of our title, Career Advancement, how to navigate your career. And the first episode, I'm so thrilled to have Mel Loizou with us today, who's my first guest, and I'm really excited about that. And I was guest on her podcast, so we thought, why not let's start? And it's going to continue. Each series will have about 7 episodes max. So we're going to, and you're going to hear about from different people how to navigate your career. So with no further ado, Hulya, I'm the host of today, founder of Innkick, the lab that I'm kicking you to innovate yourself. So apart from me, it's all about Mel and her career navigation and how she did it, how she mentioned it. But before that, let's hear from her. Mel, welcome.
Oh, hello. I'm so pleased to be here and so pleased to be your first ever guest. How exciting.
Yeah, it is. You're the VIP. I'm so excited as well. This is so great. And you know what, by the way, all the listeners, we met in person with Mel. She came to Geneva about 2 weeks ago. That was really great. So with that aside, Mel, who's Mel? Tell us about yourself a bit, what you're doing at the moment, and then we can delve into how you planned, not planned, navigated your career and golden nuggets for our audience.
Fantastic. So I am Mel Loizou. I am founder and owner of a company called Fish Climb Trees, which provides value-based leadership, personal development and growth to people working in organizations where profit isn't the driving factor. They are purpose-led organizations. So for the most part, I work with universities and also charities, but I'm happy to work with any organizations that have purpose. So I've been running my business now for 8 years. That's really been a blast. Absolutely loved it. And I could never go back to being a paid employee.
Oh, God.
Prior to that, I spent 25 years working in the higher education / university sector here in the UK, not on the academic side. I'm not an academic, but I did look after all the ancillary services that go to keep a university running. So catering, sport, retail, cleaning, post, waste, all those exciting things that nobody thinks about, but actually they're what keep universities going while the academics can do what they do. So that's me in a nutshell.
Wow, awesome. So after 25 years, almost my kind of career path, where I worked for more than 30 years, and now I took the leap of faith to be an entrepreneur. Wonderful. So Mel, you said you've got 25 years of experience, right? And I think our audience who are professionals, and I call myself midlife, midlife crisis professionals. How did you start your career? Was there a plan? Was there something in your mind? How did it start?
In short, no, but let me explain. From when I was very, very young, I knew that I wanted to work with people. I just love people. So I did a degree in hospitality management, came out, worked for a couple of years in hotels, didn't have the greatest time, realized that they didn't value their people. So when I got made redundant, I sort of stepped back and thought, right, what do I want to do? My dad's an academic. And he's always been one of the happiest people I know, always done his life's work. Work has never, actually, he's always played. He called it playing rather than working. So then these jobs came up in universities and I thought, oh, I'm going to go for this. And that's what I did. And I went to work at the University of Leeds. So I'm based in the south of the UK, moved up north, loved it. But after a few years decided, actually, I want to be back home. I want to be near London. So I came back down and I got a job at Royal Holloway, which is part of the University of London. And that was when my career took off, because what I would say up until then, I hadn't found my groove. I worked hard. I knew what I wanted to do. I'd done a master's degree in marketing whilst I was at Leeds, but I'd never found what it was I really wanted to do. And when I went to Royal Holloway, I had 15 years there, and it was the best 15 years of my life. I worked with amazing people. I built something up from scratch, and I went from having a team of 6 people to a team of 600. Oof. Initially one business function to 21 different business functions. And that made me really, and I didn't have a plan. So that's what I mean when I say no, there was no plan. All I've done, I think, if I reflect on my life and now, is that I work really hard and I want to be judged for the work that I do. I'm not very good playing politics or any of those sorts of things. So when I started at Royal Holloway, I was the first person in and I was the last person out at night. I worked really hard. Oof. And then a few years in, I got married and I had my children. And once I had my children, I didn't have that ability any longer to work all of those hours. I had to be there for pickup from nursery. And again, knowing that I was coming on this podcast, it was wonderful because I was able to reflect on my career. And actually, that was the thing that changed, is I didn't take my foot off the accelerator. I still worked as hard, but it wasn't all consuming. Suddenly I had a reason to do things outside of work. Suddenly there was more balance in my life, which meant that when I was away from work, I was away from work. Very rarely would I think about it, because when you've got 2 screaming children, they take your attention.
I'm sure all the mothers are reflecting here, all the working mothers here. Yeah, that's it. That's me.
Exactly. And so, but interestingly, that was when my career took off. I got several promotions and ended up as director of campus services. And I think now in my business, that's why I take a holistic look at leadership. So it's connecting mind, body and spirit, because actually all of my learning, my personal development, my personal journey has been that if we can combine and connect mind, body and spirit, then we become the best version of ourselves. And that will allow us to attain whatever goal it may be, whether it's a career-based goal or something outside of work.
Wow. So I hear, firstly, you were just putting sweat, blood and tears into your work. So it's like long hours, first in, last out, etc. And that many, many women do. Even, yeah, everyone, actually humans. So let's not distinguish humans, right? And then afterwards, you were forced to step back somehow because you had your kids, right? But then everything changed in your favor. It's interesting how the universe was working out. So what was the reason you think it just changed once you were not like, how shall we say, putting all your energy, all your sweat, blood and tears into the work? What was the trigger there?
It's interesting because one of the mantras that I use with my clients now is that your best ideas do not happen when you're sat round a meeting table, having a long meeting, having everybody there. That isn't when you get your best ideas. Your best ideas happen when you're in the shower. A lot of people say when they're on the toilet, excuse that, and walking out in nature. That's often the one for me. And so I think what it it did was it created space within me to, often when you hit challenges, you know, you go at it, you go at it, you go at it, you don't ever just go, okay, I'm just going to let this settle. And I think that was part of it, that my thinking actually became sharper, and I wasn't as attached to the outcome. So if there were discussions with my teams, I don't think I ever was welded to the outcome, but I could be a little bit narrow in my focus. Whereas actually, I became more accepting of different views, and I became accepting of who I was as a person, because during this time I was doing a lot of personal development as well. And I recognized that actually, if I wanted to change things around me, I needed to look inwards, and I needed to sort of not look at the people outside, but actually, if I wanted to change something, I needed to do the work internally. So if there was a challenge, it was, what could I have done better? So I think it was combined with, you know, as you say, the universe aligned to make me slow down, make me create space, but also I found some wonderful tools and sort of embarked on a journey of self-discovery and growth, which I'm still on even 25 years later, to just help me be the best version of me. And I think it was all of those things.
Wow. I love what you were saying. It made my thinking sharper, sharp. It's really great. And having space, that's why, I mean, you just see it, it's break free from your hamster wheel. When you always run in this wheel and you don't look around, you lose yourself, you lose your identity, you don't feel fulfilled, you're unhappy, basically you're unhappy, and nothing comes out. Again, that doesn't mean that you should be not thinking of different things, right? Or how to get out, or what you would like to do, but create space is important. I like that, create space. And you were saying as well, I was not attached to the outcome. And if we are too fixed on the outcome, life is not flowing, right? And we're actually blocking it. So I think that's a wonderful message. Wow, impressive. Mel, with 2 kids, taking on a huge team with I don't know how many, staff and units. It's impressive, Mel. Wow. But how did you stem the day-to-day then in your career? How was your typical day then, doing lots of responsibilities at the same time?
So my days, and that's why I suppose I love the university sector, because if you like, universities are a microcosm of society. So my days were very, very busy. So I might be talking cleaning companies in the morning, and then looking at a new build in the afternoon, talking to students about what catering they wanted. It was really, really diverse, and I loved it. And I think, again, one of the things that I learned was that I don't have all the answers. I had to rely on the brilliant team around me, and actually my job was to steer that ship. And for me, that was absolute. I mean, as I say, I'd never dreamed that I would be a director. That was never in my career path. I just wanted to do a good job. But actually, I think as I sort of moved higher and higher up, and I got less and less involved in the day-to-day, so I found my purpose, because I realized that I was good at inspiring people, at listening to people, at enabling them to fulfill their potential and ask the right questions at the right time. But never did I want to do their job for them. And that worked for me, but it wouldn't work for everybody. So I think it is for people, when you are looking at your career journey, is actually figuring out what brings you joy. Because we are at work for such a long period of time. And if you don't enjoy what you do, then really, what is the point? Because I would say those 15 years that I had at Royal Holloway were the best of my career, paid career ever. And I knew when I was going to leave that it was very unlikely that I would ever find that again. But I needed to, because I'd got to that point where I was stagnated and I had a choice. I could either stay where I was with really nice people, really nice environment, paid well, but not necessarily challenged mentally and for my own growth, or I needed to shift something. And so I shifted.
So where did you shift it to?
Well, there you go. This is interesting. The universe working again, because ever since I'd left university, I had wanted to run my own business, but I didn't have, I fell into paid employment. And once you have a regular salary, it's very hard to step away from that once you have a mortgage and children and family.
Tell me. Yeah.
So I came to that point at Royal Holloway when it was like, right, this time to move now. I still didn't have at the time, I didn't have the confidence to move, to start my own business, because I did think, even though I'd had this amazing career path, I did think, is somebody going to find out I'm not good enough? You know, that whole thing. And
imposter syndrome going on. Yes,
absolutely, go round and round and round. And so I decided that I would take another paid job. So I went to work for an IT tech company, and it was horrendous. I spent a year. It was just a complete mismatch of values, and it challenged my integrity, but I still managed to effect change. So at the end of that year, we had a discussion and there was a mutual parting of ways. And in spite of it being the worst year ever, I took away from it that I can still effect change. And so it was like, right, this is a now or never moment. I either go and find another job and I don't want to have the experience I had, or I do what I've always wanted to do, which is run my own business.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. I left one job. I started up my own business. I had no contracts, which I would never advise anyone to do now. I had nothing. I started from a zero base. And it was the best thing I ever did, because now I would never go back and do anything else. I have what my dad had. I love, love, love what I do. I don't feel that it's work. And I feel that I am able to fulfill my purpose every day, which is about enabling others to fill their purpose so that they can make the workplace better for themselves and the teams around them.
Wonderful, lovely. Oh my God. You're saying right. It's not easy to take that leap of faith to actually create your own company. But you know what? At the moment, I'm also at that stage, and I love what I'm doing because I'm helping humans, fulfilling them, showing them what they can do, unleashing the full potential. And also at the workplace, I'm really up for well-being, and it's lovely. Great. And I like what you're saying, what your dad was saying, actually. Was it your dad about that work is playing? Oh my God, this is beautiful. Because for most of us, what I notice, and you as well, I'm sure you noticed as well, it's work is like, oh my God, it's a torture. Oh, I need to wake up. I need to go to work, oh God. If you're in this, these symptoms are bad symptoms. It leads to burnout. Take action. Right? So that's it. So it needs to be a bit more playful. Well, we can't have the ideal situation, but this is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your whole career journey and how it evolved. So last but not least, for our audience, who might be all our professionals, what would be your maybe your top 3 golden nuggets?
My top 3 golden nuggets. Top, create balance in your life. And by balance, I mean space. Find your purpose and do what you love.
Wow. I love that. Do what you love. That's so nice. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mel. Really, it was amazing to hear your career journey, inspiring at the same time. So a call out to everyone. Listen nicely, re-listen again, because Mel went through a hell of experience and she has got so much to share. And you have as well a podcast, right, Mel, which I was part of, and it was Dive Deep, Climb High. So a question just quickly before we wrap up. Why did you choose that name of your company?
Fish climb trees.
Yes.
Well, it's a quote by Albert Einstein. If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will spend its whole life believing that it is stupid. Now, actually, in the research I've done, nobody can actually categorically say that was by Einstein, but an amazing quote. And I chose to call my business Fish Climb Trees because it means different things to different people. But for me, it's about the art of making the potentially impossible absolutely possible. And it's about unleashing people's potential on the world, because we all have it, no matter where we are, who we are, our beginnings, our education, we all have some sort of potential.
Great. Thank you so much. Another powerful quote, ending the podcast with Mel. Thank you for your time and stay in touch. We will also give all the details of Mel. So if you want to get in touch with her, absolutely you can do so. And thank you.
Thank you.